You said a lot of things that I absolutely agree with, right? But either way, Marcus, you supported the point that I'm definitely not with, right? I'm not with that whole, and I understand because I have done it, right? I understand the art of molding women and blah, 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 blah. However, my whole thing is I want to build strong families, right? I want us all to be able to be suitable mates for each other. So we can't reward bad behavior. We can't give excuses and cop outs and say, you know what? It's cool. We understand. No, listen, if you're not getting the results that you want, you must improve. What is it that you're going to do to attract the men that you want? Everybody complaining about how hard it is to get a man, how single they are, but then they're not willing to improve. You must become more feminine. And we can't say that this is just how women are, because there are women here. And especially if you get on a boat or a plane and go across the seas, it is not. Women do come feminine right out of the box. So it's possible for the female species of humans to actually be feminine. We can't give so many cop-outs and just say that this is the way women are, because it's not the natural state of a female. Why are we not recognizing that? It's not gay to think that this is not the natural state of females, because it isn't. We have to accept that. And once you accept your flaws, I'm on men. If they're doing something wrong, I'll be like, yo, you trying to get women and you broke, stop it. Get your life together. Improve. Get better. Go hang out more. Become more social. Dress better. Put on some damn smell goods. They get no mercy from me, because they need to hear these harsh truths. I'm going to do the same thing for women, because I want the best for you. I want everyone who wants to be married to be able to get married. And the only way we're going to do this is to stop giving women cop-outs. Stop saying that this is the way women are. Stop saying, okay, because I understand it, right? But not everybody's going to be able to navigate that type of a situation. Most men aren't equipped like that and why do they have to deal with that? Why would they work so hard? This is why men are checking out, because they realize it works in other places. They realize there's easier things to do. Like, I can find somebody else who's more cooperative out of the box. Why would I go through all the hoopla and I could just go get me a female who's easygoing? Why knock yourself way down here and you're competing for what it is that you want? It's very difficult as a woman to find the man that you want. There's nobody on this panel who would disagree with me. So why not do every single thing in your power to get a good man that you want?
Part of molding and training somebody is positive reward and negative so not rewarding negative behavior. So I don't think that what I'm saying disagrees to the extent that you may be perceiving it when I'm saying you should reward people for behaving in a positive manner, and you should remove or take away people from behaving in a negative manner. There are varying degrees of it, right? So if you told your lady you don't like her to wear certain type of clothing, right, and she wants to go out the house that way, and you had planned on going someplace with her, don't go. I'm just not gonna go. That's an example of not rewarding positively behavior you don't like. Now, if you told her, I don't want you flirting and talking to other men at the gym, and you find her doing that and you leave her behind it, that's also an example of it, but it's to varying degrees. So when I'm talking about rewarding and punishment for negative behavior, it's a sliding scale as far as the extremes you go to and the extremes you don't go to. Your other point, can you Trev, quickly tell me the point you disagree with me on again, so I can make sure I address that fully?
Okay. Because I noticed you offered plenty of grace for the women for understanding that they are going to mold to situations, right? And I dig that. But guess what? If we tell women hear this stuff and they're like, okay, yeah, he gets it. But guess what? That man, that suitable man, is going to skip right over her when she hears that type of language from you as a man to support that. You can't do that, because when they hear that, they think it's okay to be like that. And it's not. It's very bad. You shouldn't be like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I mean by say it. That's where I feel like it's kind of rewarding bad behavior, by saying it's okay. This is how women are. This is what women do. But then when you go other places, this ain't what women do. And that's what I'm saying. We're accepting this as the norm, but it's really not the norm.
So I think this comment is the perfect comment to describe. Marcus and Trev are correct. They just looking at it from two different angles. Marcus believes all women are malleable, which I do. Trev does not want to, mold them, right? I think that's a fair statement. You gotta think my general philosophy is that all women are more like there's almost no women that are unable to be molded, but it depends on the incentive system. If she wants to be with that man, she'll figure out a way to conform to what she needs to for that man. I don't think there's a one
That
size
part.
I don't think there's a one size fit all that all men can get all women to act in this type of behavior. Because truthfully, we live in a society with so many different variables that we can't. In reality, it will not work. Ideologically, I would agree with you, but I'm trying to speak in a realistic base where I could provide a tangible step for people that are trying to find a form of a process to get to the desired result. And the truth of the matter is, most men are not going to go overseas and find a wife. Now, if most men dedicated themselves to going overseas and finding a wife from a culture that they just bask and live directly in their femininity in the way that men desire, then we can have a different conversation. But if you can't convince all of the men to go find these specific type of women, then they have to exist within the parameters of what they're faced with. I said before, I've never dated a single mom seriously, right? But that's because of the options that I was afforded. Had I been in a position where the best woman that I could possibly receive for myself was a single mom, then I would have generally entertained that concept. It all boils down to the variables. What do you have to bargain with and market with on the social, sexual marketplace? And knowing those things, you then have to see what's the best deal that you can get with what you have to offer. So what I'm speaking to is just the reality of life. If you want an extremely attractive woman, but most extremely attractive women are not interested in you, you may get an extremely attractive woman that you may have to work with more, if that's what you want. But it's a slider scale like 2K. Sometimes you're gonna get 100% of what you want, 90% here, and you may be able to raise that up to 93 with practice.
We're talking about two different points, and that's the problem, right? So I
Okay.
understand where he's coming from, and I understand what the reality is, right? But what I'm trying to inform the women of what the reality is, right? The fact that if you do things better, you'll get better results. That part, right? I'm trying to encourage women the right way to do things to garner the attention you want and get the results that you want, right? And I think it's counterproductive for women to hear that it's okay for them to have conditional femininity, right? And that we know the right man will be able to mold that and blah blah blah, and that's cool. But women are complaining even more about being single, and a lot of times the men, if men don't get married, it's a lot of times because they check out. Women are not getting married because they feel like they can't find a suitable mate. But if women were to improve just on the femininity part, that is the most attractive thing that you can be. Feminine and be a nurturer. Those are the most sustainable qualities that you can have for a relationship. So if you present those, that's what makes a man love you. That's all I'm trying to say. That's the stuff that they need to hear in order for them to get the results that they want. Not like, oh, this is you can do this and the right man will be able to mold you. I don't think that's going to work for them because they're not getting the results that they want. I'm talking about the women. They are not getting the results that they want. How could they do better? Let's give them some suggestions, some solution-based suggestions that like, hey, this is what you can do to improve. And I think that the femininity is extremely important to most men. And that's what we really, really need to concentrate on right now.
So
Tell
I think
them this is what you can do better to get the results you want.
so I think the issue, Trev, is you're speaking to women and I'm speaking to men. Where you're
And
trying to tell them
that's the difference.
how,
Yes.
how, they,
We're
how they
both
need
we're
to
both speaking we're
conform.
both speaking to men and women.
So I'm not telling
It's a
men that
difference.
women need to become more feminine in order to get XYZ. I'm
Right.
telling men be this version of masculinity and women will conform as by proxy as the result of. And that's been the experience that I've experienced in my life, and I've been able to teach or help other people experience who have similar or desirable results. You yourself are a masculine man who exhibits the traits that will get women to conform. It's not a coincidence that the women in your
No,
life
I did.
interact in a
I
way,
did.
and it's not a coincidence that men who don't behave like you, women interact in a different way. We see it all the time. There are women on panels who come on here, they don't do the same stuff to me or you consistently, right? It's because of the what I'm describing that men should behave in. Most times we remain stoic. Most times we're not going to sit back and argue and go back and forth. We'll make our point and move on. We're not adamant on convincing or belittling or trying to ridicule any of the women. We say what we say and we move on. If you're in the spirit of arguing and trying to belittle them, then there's certain results that you're going to get. I'm not here to place judgment or cast the stray on when people do that. I'm saying it's specifically the reality of how this looks. And I would take again to that in your real life is very similar. And that would mold the way that you view women. A lot of times when I hear people describe a problem, if I'm talking to them and the way they describe the problem also alerts me of the problem that they have. I'll say it again. When I hear people describe a problem, if I'm intently listening, I often hear them describe the problem that they have. If they're having a problem with maintaining a job, these jobs ain't shit. Every job they go on, it's a like they taking advantage of you. They just trying to overwork you. They just trying to do XYZ. What I'm hearing is you have a issue with authority, possibly, and you possibly don't follow the rules and regulations within that job. You're telling me about the job, but I'm hearing about what's the issue with you. And instead of addressing what the job needs to do, because the job is the job, I'm saying, hey, you bring these attributes to any job, and these will be the results you'll get. There are consistencies and breadcrumbs for success in life. And I think you have to understand them, but we're talking to two totally different demographics when we dialogue. I only believe
Yeah.
in addressing the men because I believe that women are moldable, all women,
No, they're not.
and by proximity of good men, they fall into the space they're supposed to be. Because the key element that women need is trust and safety. And when they feel they have trust and safety for the man, the things they say they would never do, they tend to do. Men should not operate from a space where the things they say they would never do, they tend to do. That's not a good man. I just think that that's a woman when that happens. You understand what I'm saying? If she can, if you the things that women.
I just want to add this because I think this is kind of like where the issue is, Trev. Y'all spend so much time trying to tell women what they're doing wrong instead of just simply you just rising and being better, and the women that are up here are going to want to work with you. And this is what's crazy. Marcus helps men, you help women, but I operate like Marcus as far as my verbiage goes, and I actually help women. Because the thing about it is, if y'all watch any of my content, I talk about if you fat, you ain't gonna find no man. If you do this, you ain't gonna find no man. So I just simply tell women, if you aren't doing this, you're gonna be left out. Kind of like what Sweeney says. Some of the shit Sweeney says, I agree with. But y'all have this dark, desolate, this lack mentality of, oh, women are never gonna act right. Ladies, if y'all are never gonna
said that?
Hold on, because you just said it while Mark was saying they ain't never gonna act right.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did. So it's like, who cares what they are going to do? So y'all, it's a lot of energy whining or complaining about what women aren't doing. Like I say, like with me, I say, I'm Mr. Sit Your Ass Down, right? I say women are children. I say a lot of things that women don't necessarily respond well to. But at some point, like Mommy 3, women are like, yo, I kind of like understand what Mr. Let Go was saying. Earlier, he was saying the shit I ain't understand. So I just simply am being confident in what I think and what I believe, and I stay steadfast in it. And in month 2, month 3, month 6, or whatever, folks are like, you know what? I really know what he's talking about then. I don't sit around whining about women. I say any woman in my life is going to do this, that, or she's going to get the fuck out. I don't care what the women that done got the fuck out are doing, because I don't care. And I think that's the difference between you and Sweeney versus Marcus or me or different people. And I think that's where the issue is, because y'all are like spewing divisiveness, and we are just simply being like, you either gonna shut the fuck up, you gonna get out. And then that's it.
What I said.
Like, everything is always going to be situational. And I've been in a lot of situations, and the situations that I've been on, I've seen it all. And I could take some information from Trev, and I could take some information from Marcus, and you could be able to apply it. I think us having this information, like us being more aware about what's going on, whatever situation we be in, we're going to know how to navigate it. And if you want to choose to go a little bit further, depending on that person, then you can with this information. If you want to pull out and you just said like, no, I'm not going to do it, then you can exit. So this is all this is information. I don't think we got to put any personal feelings into it. This is great. Like, this is great for anybody can apply some information to their situation. Some people probably already in too deep. And so this, like, what this does is now they can become a little bit more self-aware. And if they need to get out, then they have the motivation to get out. They have the understanding to get out. So this is all game. This is all game. And I think I seen somebody in the comments say, because people shift and change for whatever reason. You know, I'm gonna be honest. You'll be surprised how a woman will change up on you when that dick stop working. When that dick stop working, a woman will change. I've seen it. I hear the stories, and you might have to do a hard reset and figure out how you're gonna tackle the situation, because yeah, you vetted the way you supposed to in the beginning, but now you got some different variables that's coming into play, and that's just the reality of it. So if you don't know how to navigate situations further than the beginning, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost. When somebody goes through a death, sometimes it ain't the same person. But you already got these 20 years in. You gotta be able to understand what the situation calls for.